This is your guide at the end of the day to achieve stable 60 frames or more in Assetto Corsa Competizione in triple 4K. So I will show you at the end of the day what I did to achieve that, what settings I have to be made, and what at the end of the day are the most critical ones. So to have this stable frame rates across all conditions. Stay tuned. The first settings I want you to show at the end of the day is the Nvidia settings that I have to, at the end of the day, set up my three TVs that are 55-inch 4K TVs together with my normal monitor, which is in racing, dealing with showing me chats and the recordings and all of that. So what we do is we have in NVIDIA settings, we actually can set up surround. We could also potentially run the three TVs separately as own TVs, and then use software at the end of the day to simulate the resolution. Um, I found out that NVIDIA Surround is a little bit less, you know, it's hassle free to work with it. And you are not have to run an additional program at the end of the day that scales your image to and connect these monitors. You have a little bit more flexibility if you do have three separate ones. I will just stick with the NVIDIA Surround setting. So I have an NVIDIA Surround setting. So I have one large screen, which is in the resolution of 12,378 by 2,160 pixels. That is my resolution, and I do have a supporting monitor which is running at the resolution at 3,440 by 1,440. This is at the end of the day my setup. Um, and what we do here, first of all, is we have our resolution and our refresh rate. See, my refresh rate is up to 120 hertz. And I do have a special resolution at the end of the day because I need to correct my bezels. Yeah, right. Because you, at the end of the day, you have three monitors, you have some bezels, you need to correct them. And this, at the end of the day, makes the resolution a little bit larger to compensate the bezels. And then we do for sure have our Dell, which is natively running with 60 hertz. And when you are looking into the graphic global settings, what I did is I changed the vertical synchronization to fast. I also have some other things in here, like texture filtering is set to high performance, and I also have the power mode to maximum performance. Because from my perspective and what I've read through the internet, it is at the end of the day the most preferred setting to keep a stable frames. What else? So to at the end of the day also activate that resolution in Assetto Corsa Competizione, we cannot just go into the menu of the game and then activate it. There is a limit in the game to at the end of the day run that high resolution. So what you have to do is you need to go to your documents on your computer. You need to open a set of calls a competizione. There is a config folder, and in this config folder, you see menu settings. And in menu settings, you actually get this by the editor notepad. You can open it, and if you scroll to the very bottom, you see that there is a graphic options. So you for sure can also here natively change your settings that you want to have in game. which is then getting very technical. But here, what is very important is that this X and Y axis is then in sync with the resolution that we have seen before in the Nvidia settings. So this is mandatory at the end of the day to run that solution in a Santa Clausa competition. Another big factor in running any newer games now in such resolutions is to have proper versions of DLSS. In any game, you want or have to use it to keep stable frames. And I'm actually using DLSS Swapper, which is very known. And it is as simple as you can imagine. You just see your games, you see the version of DLSS, and then you just click on the game you want to update, and then you select the version you want to have. You see there is many versions and very high development around DLSS. I can tell you from the beginning that we have seen that there has been ghosting, but in the newest versions it's close to zero. So the visual impact of DLSS compared to the performance gain is not really relevant. The performance gain at the end of the day is what brings us to these stable frames. And I highly recommend that you just download DLSS Swapper and make sure that you're using DLSS if you're running such high resolution. So finally, the graphics settings that you can actually check in Assetto Corsa Competizione. You see that the resolution, is, for me right now, it seems to be very low, but it's actually very high. We have set it up in the file as shown before. You see my settings that I've chosen here are focusing on drawing distance, shadows. They need to be epic. I have activated as well the as mentioned. It's super important for these type of resolutions. I set it to quality to get the most picture quality, which at the end of the day is just important. The other settings here you can just look through. Again, pictures are important. What is also really taxing is mirrors and the viewable parts. These are two settings you have to play around, and please deactivate things like bloom or volumetric because it's really taxing.